Welcome to Flash from Scratch, Tutorial 21. Your name tweened. CS5 program is opened, and I'm going to make a new FLA, keeping the default. Now, a lot of people like to see their name in writing, and especially see it move around. So that's what we're going to do. Let's make it fit the window, my stage. And when you use the text tool, the color you used here is the fill color. So let's make a nice crazy color. Here's a purple. And select the text tool. And let's put some text here. And I'm just going to write my name. S-K-I-P, skip. Now, while I have it selected with the text tool, I'm opening my properties panel to see what I have. I have something called Verdana. And if you highlight this, I think you can go through these lists and sort of see what the different font shapes are. And you can just go through them with this menu and pick the different font shapes. But I am choosing to use Verdana. We have this here, which is the point size. You know exactly how that works. Let's make it quite big. Spacing between the letters. Get them on top of each other if you want. I'm going to go with that setting there, and naturally the color and embed. Click this. It just makes sure that when you make this and publish it, that all the things that you need are here, all the characters. So click all, and up here you can't see it, but that's okay. So there we have this, my name. Now, you can very easily just take it like it is, highlight it, go up to, say, frame 45, insert a keyframe, and move it down here. Click in here somewhere, classic tween, press enter, and you have a classic tween. So now let's say we want to have more than just one tween direction. Let's go up again here to 75, insert another keyframe, and let's move it back here, for example, and insert and classic tween again. So now we have two. Let's do one more. Insert a keyframe, and let's put it down up here and make a classic tween. And if we look at it, that we know what's going to happen. It's just going to bounce around the stage like that, down there, then over and over and over. Now, let's say for some reason we either made a mistake here or wanted to change one of the letters. Well, we'd have to go, first of all, here, double click on it to get down inside of it, right inside of the tween, and change the letter to, say, skit, for example. Then go back to scene 1, and now let's test it. But notice only the first tween recognized the change, only up to here. So I'd have to go to each and every one of the keyframes and change that. We don't want to do that. Let's click here, drag all the way to the end, and let's remove those frames. Right click here, remove the tweens, and we're back down to, oops, pick up your selection tool, double click on it, get inside the tween, click till you get that cursor, and I'm going to go back to my skip. I have it highlighted, if not selection tool, modify, convert it to a symbol, and we'll call it name, N-A-M-E underscore GRP. Call it a graphic. Now, let's go to frame 20, insert a keyframe, frame 35, insert a keyframe, and we'll do one more to get the picture, around 150 something, insert a keyframe. Click there. This is my I have one on frame 1, one here. Let's move it down here. Click here. Let's move it down here. Click here. Let's move it up or here. Now, if I go to frame 1 and just drag it right across, right click, create classic tweens. It'll create 3 of them for me. Now, again, it's going to do the same thing here, but the difference is going to be if, for example, I needed to change that P, so I'm on frame 1, double click on it, click again until I get it right inside this group. I'm right inside the symbol. Back step 1, put a T in, go back to scene 1. Now before, when I got here, the T would be a P, it would jump back, but because we modified it inside the symbol, it stays, and that's the advantage of making it a symbol first. Very, very important. Okay, I want to go back here, double click on it, get back inside of that symbol, clicking again, and I'm going to put it back to a P. Back on scene 1. Let's do one more thing. Let's click here, go all the way, get all those frames, right click, remove the frames. All we have left is frame 1, right click, remove the tween, and now we're right back to just having skip on the stage. My selection tool, highlight it. This is interesting. Modify, come down here to something called break apart. Oh, didn't get it. Break apart. There it is. And you see it makes 4 separate shapes. Okay. Go back up to modify, come down to timeline, distribute to layer. Click this and look what it did for us. It made a layer for each of these letters. There's the S layer. If I click this, see this eyeball, I can hide the S, I can hide the K, I, and P. There's nothing on this layer, top layer. So right click on the top layer, delete that layer. Now let's tween these. This is going to be interesting. Frame 15, just click, drag down, right click, insert keyframe. Frame 30, click, drag down, right click, insert keyframe, and we'll do one more. That'll get you the picture. Click, drag it down, right click, insert keyframes. Now go back to frame here, and the P, let's move the P over here. This is my I, let's move that up here, the K over here, and the S here. Go to this layer section here now. Let's do something similar. Get them scattered all over the place. And finally, this last set of frames. Now, if we take and just click here and drag it all the way across like that, right click, create classic tweens. It'll create tweens in all of them. And let's look at this. Starts off with skip, and it bounces all over the place. Now, this is what we can do. Click off to the side. Click here, drag, go all the way over. Right click, copy frames. Right here, copy frames. Come here, up front, one frame above it. Select them all. Holding my left mouse down. Right click, paste frames. Now, all those frames, so click off to here, click off to the side, start here, click, get all those frames, nothing but those frames, click right here, and right click in here, reverse frames. Now, it's going to, when we run it, test movie, it's going to start with them together, they break apart, and they're going to come back together. Break apart, come back together. Okay, if we just hit the enter, we'll see that. There they go, break apart, and come back together. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.